Imagine Europe before the first stone of a cathedral was laid. A vast, untamed cradle of fog and wood where the earth breathed with the spirits of the old world. This was the Slavic heartland. There were no borders as we know them today, no kings and golden crowns, only the law of the forest and the strength of the tribe, a power the chroniclers of the West tried to erase. Fact 1. Arkona, the spiritual sun of the north. Not just a shrine, but a fortress temple that halted the advance of empires for over 300 years. It was the last bastion of the ancient gods, a sacred city where religion and defense were one and the same. To destroy it was to break the Slavic soul. Fact 2. Svetovid. Deep within Arkona's walls stood a god of total omniscience. 4 heads, looking to the 4 corners of the universe, watching everything. His eyes never closed. He saw the plots of dukes, the movements of armies, and the hidden desires of every man and woman under his protection. Total control. Fact 3. Theocracy. The high priest of Arkona held more wealth and influence than any duke. No war was declared, no peace accepted without the gods' consent. They were the intermediaries between the soil and the sky. Their word was law, and their wealth was fueled by the tributes of entire kingdoms. Fact 4. The prophecy of mead. Every harvest, the priest checked the god's horn. If the trunic had vanished, it meant famine. If it overflowed, war and wealth. This was a divine barometer, a ritual of honey and fire that decided the economic and military survival of the tribe. The gods spoke through the level of the drink. Fact 5. The horse of war. A sacred white steed decided the fate of Slavic armies. If its right leg stepped over crossed spears first, the tribe marched. If the left leg led, the sword stayed silent. This was no superstition. It was a military doctrine that integrated the divine into the battlefield strategy. Fact 5. The horse of war. A sacred white steed decided the fate of Slavic armies. If its right leg stepped over crossed spears first, the tribe marched. Fact 6. Terrors of the sea. While the West feared the Vikings feared the Slavic pirates. The Renawi were the lords of the southern Baltic. They raided Denmark, Sweden, and Norway, exacting tribute and controlling the trade routes. The Baltic was a Slavic sea, cold and ruthless. Fact 8. Veneta, the legendary Slavic Atlantis. Cities like Wolin were massive trade hubs where people of all faiths traded in peace under the Slavic axe. Fact 7. The Great Grody. Their engineering was unrivaled. Slavic strongholds featured walls 10 to 15 meters wide, built of oak and packed earth. These were timber cities, military centers capable of holding thousands. Strategically linked, they formed a defensive web that defied empires for generations. Every beam was laid with purpose. Every joint was carved with precision. The Slavs were the master carpenters of the northern world. Fact 9. Ritual purity. While much of Europe avoided water, the Slavs used ritual steam baths. To them, heat was a form of physical and spiritual rebirth. The Wajna was a place of purification. To sweat was to release the toxins of the soul. Foreign travelers were shocked by their obsession with cleanliness. Fact 10. Jati, the hospitality of the dead. Twice a year the veil grew thin, and the ancestors were invited back to share a meal with the living. In every corner, the spirits were fed. To neglect the ancestors was to invite chaos. In the Slavic mind, the family tree never died. It grew into the underworld. Fact 11. The cosmic axis. Perun, the god of thunder, ruled the branches, while Veles ruled the roots. A toxic cycle of order and chaos. Perun was the hammer of order. Dangerous and powerful, he protected the world with bolts of blue fire. He was the guardian of the law. Veles was the lord of magic and shadows. He was the chaotic spark that ensured life never grew stagnant. Without him, order would be a prison. Between them, the seasons turned. Jarilo, the fire of spring, and Marzana, the dark mother of winter. Death was not the end. It was a necessity. We drown her effigy to banish the cold, but we respect her power. She is the threshold guardian, the one who lets us go of the past. Then there was Triglav, the god of three worlds. His eyes were veiled in gold because the god's gaze was too heavy for mortal eyes to bear. Fact 12. Symbols. Every mark was a weapon. The Swarojika warded off the evil eye and connected the home to the sun's eternal rebirth. And the Lunala, the feminine moon, a weapon of protection worn close to the heart. Every symbol was a connection to the gods of the soil. In 1168, Arkona fell. The idols were dragged through the mud, and a center of power was erased. But you cannot burn the soil. The Slavic spirit went underground, surviving in rituals, folk tales, and our blood. The Slavs weren't a shadow. They were the center. The Slavs weren't a shadow of history. They were its center, a power that still echoes in every name, every river, and every fire we light. Subscribe for more Slavic